is like that and say, yeah.
Pretty much for football, I'll just say that no one's fucking with Germany. Hold on. Somehow blame it on that. I'm like Wolverine coming at him. Go to the debate show, so let's debate. Let the debate begin. We're struggling, which means we're off to a good show. Live from FEMA Region 1. Golden Show, Golden Debate Show, weathermonemom.com. Stay golden and like, comment, share, and download. Follow the follow, and tell your friends to follow, and download, like, comment, share, and download. What? So Brazil ain't not coming clean, USA.
What it looks like.
World Cup. Sports is the biggest distraction. We're live from FEMA Region 1. Open lines on empty windows. My man, 2-minute news for
Welcome
YouTube.
to another episode of News in 2 Minutes, bringing you the news that you need to know every day. Let's begin. Officials in Myanmar are threatening the use of martial law as sectarian violence increases heavily throughout the region, with local reports showing a drastic increase in protests and clashes between Buddhist monks and Muslims in the country, with some leaders calling for the deaths of all followers of the opposing religion. Research that we've run shows sectarian-based violence to be on a drastic increase throughout multiple nations of the world, with some data overlapping with regional unrest and social and anti-government discontent, leading experts within the community to call for personal understanding and threat assessment as the dangers of nationwide emergencies continues to increase across the world. In related news, tensions between India and Pakistan, both nuclear weapons-capable nations, is continuing to increase in Jammu and Kashmir, as reports show an increase in social disorder within the borders of the contested area, leading officials to call for curfews and a military crackdown on anyone showing or displaying anti-government sentiment within the region. Analysts warn that tensions between the countries, each currently in tentative agreement to a ceasefire, has a high chance of boiling over into regional military action, as nations around the region and around the world experience a declining economic situation in combination with international unrest and a growing divide between citizens and the authorities that govern them. Agencies are reporting that the CIA was heavily involved in the recruitment of a foreign intelligence officer in Germany while actively seeking information regarding the ongoing disclosure of Western spying practices by Edward Snowden. Analysts with information regarding the ongoing intelligence gathering practices of multiple nations warn that the disclosures that have been released by ex-spy Edward Snowden are likely calculated on a small and measured scale, where they continue to stress that every citizen of the world should consider each digital action that they undertake to be monitored and cross-referenced by a governing body for anti-totalitarian sentiment that is increasingly being considered terroristic-like activity. Following our earlier report on an uptick in tectonic activity across the Americas, experts are warning that the preceding 6.9 that struck Mexico and Central America, causing numerous blackouts and damaging multiple homes and bridges, may be the beginning of an increase in tectonic activity seen across the world. And to wrap things up, the U.S. diplomat to the Kingdom of Bahrain has been expelled following claims of Western statecraft within the country. European officials are being warned to monitor patients for the Ebola virus, and the 6.9 in Mexico, folled by a string of tremors across California and Oklahoma, completes today's quake watch.
Alex Jones,
folks, if you're watching
always fear-mongering here. But the fear might be needed a little bit.
No longer comply with feds on immigration.
I'll have a little bit of that quote at the end, but
headline should be illegal aliens above the law, because they don't just release them for being illegal. They say, don't even call them illegal, just legalize them. Legalize anybody that get here. But we'll be 1 billion people in a couple of years if that happens. And they just say, we can't pay for it anymore. We won't even hold them to give them to ICE. Plus, ICE just lets them go. And so now they go on to say, people that don't have too serious low-level crimes. Here's the quote. And, of course, I know this like the back of my hand, folks. They released out of Texas alone in a 4-year period. I remember reading this in the Houston Chronicle, 250,000 illegals, and upwards of I forget the exact number, it was a large portion, were aggravated felons. I think it was 36,000 a month ago released in 1 month. Remember that headline? 36,000 aggravated felons. We're talking arson, child rape. I mean, I've got stacks of news every day I don't even get to, with headlines like this. 2-time illegal immigrant charged with rape in Philly sanctuary city. City cops won't work with feds unless Honduran immigrant convicted. Yeah, they're just going to deport him. It's like that railway killer who preyed on Hispanics. See, there's another underbelly.
Down there in one of those catacombs.
Citizens and don't.
There's other guys, what they look like, I don't know.
Preyed on by the criminals and the gangs. And they're the ones that lobby and manage the immigrant smuggling, the running, the lawyers, all of it. And that brings me to this next report. You don't just have the people in 800-plus sanctuary cities catch and release for DWI, hit and runs, rape, robbery, criminals worldwide coming here knowing it's the happy hunting ground. You have, let me show folks right here. This is in the Weekly Chronicle. It comes out every Thursday. They've written literal whole cloth articles about me, probably 15 times, telling outrageous lies where it's literally inverted truth. Okay? Fiction. And I was not sophisticated when this started 16, 17 years ago. Now I understand. They own and run South by Southwest. They're invested in the high-rise apartments. They've got this army of fake liberals that literally work for the Chronicle for free, not knowing they're working for a $50 million a year profit organization. But it's all like beatnik old men as if going, yo, daddy, yo, black ops squads, okay? And the editor is obsessed with me and attacks me every month and listens to the show and admits it. And I never realized why, because they know I'm telling the truth. They know everything I knew before I knew it. They're literally hate my guts. They've got an illegal alien on the front of it with a cut-up American flag smiling. And then you open it up. This is a
I would say watch out for Alex Jones, but in this case, I'm not too sure that having all these illegal immigrants and not just from South America is a good idea. So I often don't like to take this tone or this thought, but you have to often think at all sides. So when it comes to immigration, I believe no one owns or rules any land, sort of like the Native Americans believe, but some roads and some schools, mostly bombs and politicians, are what the taxes are for, truthfully. Which for the poor of America is one thing. But what if illegals from all in any country come for the free rent, all from houses that someone lost, which has tripled since 2008, that's been sitting on the market, making banks involved as well as big companies such as company monopolies such as Walmart, and employers of the nation as well. All of them food stamps making big companies, like I said, like Walmart, making them even richer. And then soon military roles will probably change so they can take them in. And we all say the soldiers will never point guns and take our rights from us. But how about the new ones that come in that are getting more stuff than us? I just think everybody's always being played on every side, because I often tell you people that rule the world and vampires, that's like I like to call them, they come in every size, every shape, every religion, every race. And that's the main play game there, because they'll be sitting underground or something laughing at us while we're tearing each other apart. So keep it golden.
Golden Key Society is another secret society located
New
at Yale
Haven,
University
son.
in New Haven, Connecticut, the home of Skull and
Where the
Bones.
water's brown, by the way, again.
One of the most
Time to say it was okay to drink.
well-known secret societies.
He's working on the
Skull
pipes.
and Key was founded 10 years after Skull and Bones. It was the second secret society at Yale University, also a senior society, basically also copying Skull and Bones. They recruit 15 new students at the end of their junior year, who they see as having the potential to further the organization's goal. And Skull and Key is considered one of the big three senior societies at Yale, the other two being Skull and Bones, and the third being Wolf's Head. Well, few people pay much attention to Skull and Key. One of the members that you probably are familiar with is Fareed Zakaria, the CNN commentator on foreign affairs, who was initiated as a member when he attended Yale in 1986. Fareed went on to attend Bilderberg meetings, both in 1993 and 2009, and potentially other years, and is a member of the Council on Foreign Relations as well, the Illuminati front group that masquerades as a congressional committee, when in reality it's just a private organization acting as a propaganda mechanism for both the media and for the politicians to sort of decide what America should do for the Illuminati foreign policy-wise, and then has their politicians carry out their agenda, and then has the journalists, which many powerful journalists, members of Council on Foreign Relations. And by the way, Fareed Zakaria isn't just a member of Skull and Bones. He was actually the editor of Foreign Affairs, their publication, which serves up their political.
So another little thing I want to bring up is we all put into question Katy Perry's occult background, and what her beliefs are. We know that her father used to chill with Timothy Leary, who was the grandfather of LSD, and then they both, Katy's mom and father became Pentecostal pastors, if you will. But pretty much I'm going to say she's into black magic. So she has a new record label, and her new artist was on local Fox CT, which is my home stage Fox. He was up there singing the song, which I have to say was pretty good. But they asked him how does he get into the mood backstage, and he talked about an altar, he talked about crystals, he talked about candles, pretty much aka black magic. So she's over here already hiring people for her new label that have the same views as her ones. I always tell you, see, that's some vampire shit. They're together, and everybody kind of clicks up, no matter what that clique or that gang is. But I just thought that's interesting that she says she ain't into black magic, but now her artist is over there talking about it. So
I'm pleased to announce today,
haven't had a Reverend Manning clip in a while, so let's get back to the Reverend Manning
that
news.
I have not spoken the name of you-know-who in the past 5 days. I could wait until I've accomplished at least a week without uttering his name, but I'm going to go ahead and make that announcement today and ask that you would join suit. And let me tell you why I've not called his name. Now, I can refer to him as the son of Satan. I can refer to him as what I have named him as the long-legged Mac Daddy, and that which he is. There's no doubt about that. But I will not use that filthy Islamic name that he has perpetrated upon the world. Quite frankly, his name should not be that in the first place. It should be Frank Marshall Davis Jr., because biologically, that's who his father is. His mother pulled a fast one on, well, you know what his father's name was.
I will not speak of his name
either.
It's almost like get in with the Joe Rogan experience clip.
Like if you give $1,000 to a charity, but then you let everybody know, hey, I just get $1,000 to a charity.
I talk about that in my books. Let me tell you. So there's something there. You know who Maimonides is? An old Jewish philosopher from the 12th century. He's a very, very important guy in Jewish moral philosophy. He talked about 8 levels of tzedakah. Tzedakah is charity, giving. In terms of the purity of the act, the most pure form of tzedakah is where the altruist and the recipient of the altruism don't know of one another. Because, and he said this 1,000 years ago where he had no evolutionary training, but I then package it as an evolutionary argument, because there's great social signaling rewards that come from you writing the Joe Rogan cancer ward, right?
Yes.
Right? If you are in a why do the uppers don't drive Maseratis? Because everybody in their circle can also buy a Maserati. So they actually drive pretty cheapish cars. Because that's not going to be a very honest signal of my true value. Because everybody in my social group can imitate it. But if I can give $100 million to the so-and-so cancer, or buy $100 million painting that a 2-year-old could have otherwise painted, boy, that's an honest signal of my quality, right?
Yeah.
And so I actually talk about this exact idea of not advertising your generosity.
Yeah, I call it happiness bombs when I leave a big tip at a restaurant. I get out of there before the waiter can see what the tip is.
That's nice.
I like to do that. I like to leave big tips and then run. Get the fuck out of there. I don't want to see that person. I say thank you to them on the way out the door, but I don't want them to see the tip and then thank me back, because it almost like, it takes away from it. It's like I said, if someone donates $1,000 but then tells the world they donated $1,000, I think you owe another 1,000. You owe a silent 1,000.
Do you know you must know the show Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Yes.
So there is an episode on Curb Your Enthusiasm where Larry David is at some function with Ted Danson. They both gave anonymous donations, but everybody keeps walking up to Ted Danson telling him, oh, congratulations on this donation. That was so generous of you. So Larry David goes crazy because he goes, that's bullshit, man. You're benefiting from this whole thing. It's not anonymous. Nobody knows. Like, it's exactly what we're talking about, right? So that whole episode was a great episode because whoever wrote it actually understands our human nature.
Yeah, that's a fascinating aspect of human beings. This need to be considered altruistic, this need to be considered benevolent. To advertise it instead of just being. That you can't exist in the silence of the personal satisfaction of contributing and giving out love and generosity. That you have to be rewarded for it.
Well, I have a section in my first book which I titled Philanthropy as a Costly Signal. costly signaling in biology. So the peacock's tail is a costly signal because it actually serves as a really honest signal of my worth. For me to carry this burdensome tail and avoid predators, then you really should take me seriously, all you female hens, because here I am here and I've survived. So that's called an honest signal or a costly signal. Well, philanthropy, I argue, in many cases, is that honest signal, precisely for the reason that we're talking about.
I am fascinated by peacocks. I'm fascinated by black guys who go to clubs with $100,000 worth of jewelry on them. You know, it's amazing that aspect of especially the rap community.
Well, you know, the throwing the money in all the videos.
Yeah, making it
I got an article on that, man. Did you ever think that you would have a scientist on your show talking about
fraudulent gold like that? Say gold mentals.
Oh no, I'm so happy to talk to you now. Well, I was happy to talk to you already, but now more.
Got a little theme song and everything now. So here's our 2 riddles for the day, and then we'll get it in with some clips, and then we'll come back to it. What has one eye but cannot see? What has one eye but cannot see? Number 2. How do you make a number 1 disappear? How do you make a number 1 disappear? And I gotta admit, it doesn't say number 1. It's spelled out O-N-E. So that's my little hint. So let's play some more clips and maybe a song, and we'll get back into the GoldenDebateShow,
Oh, yeah.
Which is,
Uncle Adam, Uncle John, No Agenda Show. Check them out on NoAgenda.com.
Why anyone in their right mind would take it.
This is for psoriasis, I think. It's like
kind of. It's like for bad. It's like
bad
for
skin.
Bad complexion.
Yeah, bad skin. Yeah.
This is Stellara. This is the ad, and this is like wow.
I'm ready to try some of this.
I'm Carrie D. English, winner of America's Next Top Model. I have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, so I talked to my doctor about my condition and my treatment options. He told me about Stellara. In a medical study, 7 out of 10 Stellara patients saw at least 75% clear skin at 12 weeks. 6 out of 10 patients had their plaque psoriasis rated as clear or minimal at 12 weeks.
Stellara may lower your ability to fight infections and increase your risk of infections. Some serious infections require hospitalization. Before starting Stellara, your doctor should test for tuberculosis. Stellara may increase your risk of cancer. Always tell your doctor if you have any sign of infection, have had cancer, or if you develop any new skin growths. Alert your doctor of new or worsening problems, including headaches, seizures, confusion, and vision problems. These may be signs of a rare, potentially fatal brain condition. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you or anyone in your house needs or has recently received the vaccine.
After 2 starter doses, I take Stellara 4 times a year, and my skin is clearer. Talk to your doctor to see if Stellara is right for you.
I'm confused and I'm growing a 3rd leg, but look at my complexion. I'm dying of cancer, but look at my complexion. It's so nice. Yeah.
I ran into another ad. I know that's the worst. I don't understand, but I guess it makes.
And someone's buying that. Who was pitching it? Who was that?
This woman who won the America's Top Model or something.
I think I had a
very good-looking woman, I have to say.
Now, did I have a different version of that commercial? Is that?
I don't know. Did you? You might have.
Hold on a second. I had. That's kind of weird. I had. Maybe science don't have it. All right, don't worry about it. Let's just onward.
So I thought the more interesting commercial was this one, which was very entertaining. And I said, I had no idea. Now, we have a night or one of our producers from Medina.
Medina or Medina?
Well, I thought it was Medina. I think I pronounced it Medina, but I think it's pronounced Medina.
Isn't it funky cold Medina?
One way or another by this polka party ad, because apparently these polka parties up there in the Wisconsin, Minnesota areas or wherever, North Dakota, that kind of place, I guess are extremely popular. This particular one, which is being promoted here by this woman who plays every instrument, all usually at once, they have a list of all the bands that are playing over a 4-day period of polka madness. There must be 50 bands, and they're all crazy sounding bands with, very polka-ish sounds. But play the ad and see the kind of thing that goes on where we're completely unaware of, and they don't even have this sort of thing in Texas.
We're having a polka party! Yeah! It's time to get your tickets for the next Molly B Polka Party. Our next event will be August 7th to the 10th in Medina, Minnesota at the Medina Entertainment Center. Don't miss your next chance to be a part of the Molly B Polka Party and dance to some of the best bands in the Midwest and be on TV with me, Molly B. We're going to have a polka party in Medina.
So let's get it in with these riddles. What has one eye but cannot see? What has one eye but cannot see? A needle. And number 2. How do you make the number 1 disappear? Add the letter G and it's gone. How do you make the number one disappear? You add the letter G and it's gone. Golden Debate Show or what am I that? My man, the real news, Jason from YouTube.
Corruption,
break it down, brother.
Just nowadays, it doesn't matter where, what country, who's doing it. Everybody's doing it. It really makes you wonder how much of the whole financial system is just fraud. It's just fake, phony. Stuff made up out of thin air, backed by stuff that doesn't exist. You know, assets that are on a piece of paper that never, ever existed. Here's one from China. China finds $15 billion US worth of loans backed by fake gold trades. China's chief auditor discovered 94.4 billion yuan, or $15.2 billion US, of loans backed by falsified gold transactions, adding to signs of possible fraud in commodities financing deals. 25 billion processors in China, the biggest producer and consumer of gold, made a combined profit of more than 900 million yuan from the loans, according to a report of the National Audit Office's website. So once again, they made here's a company making God knows what kind of money, I mean incredible amounts of money, on falsified transactions that never occurred. That's the same thing. That's the same thing that our banks do. They give out these pieces of paper called futures contracts that say this is good for 5,000 ounces of silver, but you can bet with this device for 10% of that amount of money what it would cost you to buy 5,000 ounces of silver. So just give us 10% of that money, we'll come up with the rest of it on margin, and you can play the game. If silver goes up $1, if silver goes up $1, you've got 5,000 ounces, you just made $5,000, buddy. But be careful, because if it goes down $1, you just lost $5,000. You might even get a margin call because your account just got wiped out. So you would still think, well, because that's what they say in the commodities trading, you can demand delivery. So I know I have 10% to play the game, but I want the silver, so here's the other 90%. So here's 100% of the money I would owe. Give me the 5,000 ounces of silver. The problem is, at least 100 other, maybe even 200, they say, other contracts, same thing, same piece of paper, 1 to 200 other people have that same piece of paper, basically. And now, back to different piece of paper with a different number on it. Identification number, if you will. That says they too have 5,000 ounces of silver for this contract. And it's there, trust us. Because they know out of those 200 people, maybe 1 or 2 of them will say, you know what, here's the rest of the money, demand delivery, I want the actual physical silver. Which also lets them know, since it's only a few people that ever demand delivery in an instance like this where there's 200 contracts chasing that same one underlying asset that's supposed to back all of them,
Golden Debate Show, that concept.
They can just create
Let's see if
almost
I got this article correct.
Pieces of paper
discovery made in the ancient
backed by that one same 5,000 ounces of real physical
mankind.
silver.
More than 60 years ago, a very unique discovery was accidentally made in the valley of Stromov River, the greatest river in the western Bulgaria. During the road construction works, a small book was found in an old tomb covered with frescoes. It is the world's oldest book in the history of mankind, made of gold and dated 600 BC. The illustrated 6 golden pages are made of 23.82 karat gold, measuring 5 centimeters in length and 4.5 centimeters in width, and fastened together with golden rings. The pages are covered with text and decorated with images of warriors, a horseman, a siren, and a lair. The authenticity of the book was confirmed by 2 independent experts from Bulgaria and England. According to researchers from the National Museum of History in Sofia, Bulgaria, the 6 sheets are believed to be the oldest comprehensive work of involving multiple pages. As an expert said, there are about 30 similar pages known to the world, but they are not linked together in a book, and they are not golden. And so we often deal with music here, so I figured I'd talk about this, even though it's very crazy. Death metal band to play in an airtight box until they run out of oxygen. Most musicians like to perform so that others can hear their music, but one British death metal band is doing the exact opposite. They're currently playing in an airtight, soundproof box where no one can hear them, and they'll play until the oxygen runs out, and they run the risk of dying in asphyxiation. The cube is an art installed by Portuguese artist called the Box-Sized Die. According to the event organizers, Box-Sized Die has toured several European cities before and including Paris, Tokyo in France, and Sutton in Spain. This is the first appearance in London inspired by Tony Smith's pioneering minimalist sculpture Die in 1962. The steel box serves as a mobile location for the performance, said the organizers, and each location the sculpture travels to. Orfeo invites the local death metal band to play. On this occasion, the box is soundproof, determining and restricting the performances during the length of time in which oxygen is expended. That is definitely not even gold. Stramery. Earth's magnetic field is a protective shield for our planet from cosmic radiation, but it's somewhat of a mystery. Scientists aren't sure why it moves and changes in intensity. And now for the first of the high-resolution results from Earth's 3 satellite swarm revealed that the field is actually getting weaker by a small amount. Measurements made over the past 6 months confirmed that the general trend of the field's weakening, with the most dramatic declines over the Western Hemisphere. Launched in November 2013, Swarm is providing unprecedented insights into the complex workings of the Earth's magnetic field, which safeguards us from the bombarding cosmic radiation and charged particles in some areas, such as the southern Indian Ocean. The magnetic field has strengthened since January, although the overall trend is weakening. The latest measurement also confirms that the movement of magnetic north towards Siberia. These changes are based on the magnetic signal streaming from the Earth's core. Over the coming months, scientists will analyze the data to unravel the cosmic magnetic contributions from other sources, namely the mantle, the crust, the oceans, the ionosphere, and the magnetic sphere. This will provide new insights to many natural processes, from those occurring deep inside our planet to space, whether triggered by solar activity. In turn, this information will yield better understanding of why the magnetic field is weakening. Get golden.
Let me ask you something.
When I'm chilling with my late friend, you know what I mean? I get golden with it. Not every time, but every time. So I like coming in and sharing that download everybody.
Have you ever made love just before breakfast? Have you ever made love?
Seeing a request from the White House of $3.7 billion to handle this influx of undocumented people because they're not all children. We've seen this. Obama just granted amnesty to 7 million people. That's you know what size of an army that is? You have no idea what they're telling these people. You have no idea what they're promising these people. What we do know is they're giving them a paper and releasing them and telling them to show up to a court hearing. Now, how many do you think are going to do that? How many even have transportation to get there? How many even have a clue where they're at? Now we've seen 2 different bases on the border get shut down from H1N1 yesterday. 2 bases on lockdown.
Tom Hartman
now the House
never agree with much of what he says, but here he's talking about the problems in Obamacare.
Every bill.
I just don't think you can push anything on any people. That's
has
the main
all these little problems, and they should be fairly easily fixed. But the Republicans will not fix those problems because that would mean basically improving Obamacare, and they're committed to destroying Obamacare. Not because they don't like the idea of Americans getting health care. A lot of these people are decent people deep down inside.
This don't make no sense.
If they ever met the family of that young woman, I'm forgetting her name, who died because she fell into the Charlene Dill, who fell into the Red State donut hole.
And the obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens, and because of the crisis which is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night. This station and hundreds of other radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country are pooling their resources through an emergency network hookup to keep you informed of all developments.
That's where the lake comes sharing down the He's here. Listening to the Golden Show. All thoughts and opinions are solely that of the host. claims, guests, and sources, and is only to keep free thought alive. Golden Show, earlymorningmob.com.
Yeah, Gil, what are you talking about? 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 All day talking like this, like that, all day. In your hood, golden shows, golden roads, strobe lights, laser lights. Look at my gold, tripping tonight. Apple shit, one morning, hold it up, notice it. We're talking like this, talking like that. We're talking.
Don't be getting wishy-washy, I mean, now get golden.
We're talking hood, draw the line, and you better fuck with big chat. You know we're coming after that. Golden show, golden robes, golden boss, golden strokes, golden what?
And now, back to real news